Hey guys, what's up? So today we're going to be looking at mortgages, okay? And I'm sure you've heard of this before. It's basically buying a house, guys. It's buying a house, your dream house, okay? So everybody has to live somewhere, okay? You're going to have to live somewhere. And you're not going to be able to avoid this one. I would hope that all of us will buy a house one day, okay? And some of us are going to buy it cash, probably 1% of you guys. And some of you guys are going to need some help from the bank, okay? So, so let's look at this definition here. It says a mortgage is a legal agreement by which a bank, building society, or financial institution lends money at interest in exchange for taking the title of the debtor's property, within the condition that the transfer of the title becomes void upon payment of the debt. So this basically says the bank lends you this money, and the only time you completely own the property, meaning the transfer of the title goes completely to you, is when you finish paying this mortgage, okay? So most people take a mortgage, guys. It's very sad though, but we're not gonna get too downy about it. But it's just part of life. People pay mortgages, okay, and every 12 months for usually 30 years, right? Or maybe even 20 years, maybe even 15 years, and sometimes 10 years. You pay these monthly payments for the house that you want to buy, okay? So it's all good. It's okay to pay a mortgage, and you can actually be smart with mortgages, like really smart. You can use mortgages and mortgage a couple apartments and rent them out. Airbnb them and just make some extra US each month. There are a lot of people who do that in Jamaica and in the States. Mortgages can make you really rich. Ask Donald Trump. So, so what does this mean? Okay, what does this whole definition mean? It means you borrow money to buy the house, and the title is transferred to you after you pay your debts, right? So it's a really cool way to have some serious leverage. And as I said, everyone has to live somewhere. You don't have a choice. You have to live somewhere. I prefer to rent, until you can buy the house. I think that's the best thing to do. I don't really like the idea of this huge mortgage for the rest of your life, but it works. It really works. And not all the time you have to do it for your personal house. As I said, you can buy a beach house, you can rent it out, to foreigners, to tourists, and really make a good amount of money. So real estate is the topic here, guys. We're looking at real estate, and it's a monopoly vibe right now. We want to see how monopoly really goes in real life. How you actually buy houses, and how you live in them, how you actually get to buy a house. So I'm gonna give you a real life example at the end, and I'm gonna give you some more examples now. All right, guys. Hey guys, we're back in it, and now we're gonna be looking at the first example for a mortgage. Okay, guys. All right. So it says here you buy a house in Norbrook, right? Congratulations, guys. You just bought your new house, right? In Norbrook, Cherry Gardens, uptown, right? You worked hard and you bought your house in Norbrook, costing you $50 million. And the bank you processed your payment through is Victoria Mutual Building Society, right? VMBS. And they require a 5% deposit for the mortgage, okay? Now it says calculate the deposit, the mortgage, the total amount repaid to the bank if the monthly payment is $312,500 over a 30-year period, the interest paid to the bank, and the amount you paid for the house, okay? So let's start with A. Let's start with the deposit, all right? Because you have to deposit to get the mortgage, okay? And it's a 5% deposit of the 50 million. So all you have to do is find 5%. So that's 5% of the cost of the house, right? HOUSE. Cool. So this would actually be equal to 5 over 100 multiplied by the 50 million. Okay. All right, so let's cross these zeros out. And you're going to get 500,000 times 5, which is actually 2.5 million, right? So that's 2,500,000. Okay, so this is the deposit, guys. This is how much you need to deposit. Okay. All right, so we did A. And let's just write that up here. You need to deposit 2.5 million. Okay. All right, so let's move on. We did A. Let's move on to B. Okay, so B says calculate the mortgage. Okay. So when they said the mortgage, guys, they actually mean the cost of the house minus the deposit. Okay. So that's what the mortgage is. That's the amount that the bank is gonna lend you to buy this house. Okay. So the mortgage, all right, is equal to right, the cost of the house, minus the deposit. Okay. All right, so the cost of the house is $50 million, right? Really nice house, your dream house that you bought, right? Minus the deposit, which is $2.5 million. Let's put stuff in dollars here. 2500000. And if you subtract the 2.5 million from the 50 million, you should get 47,500,000, right? 47,500,000. And this is the answer for the mortgage, guys. All right, so let's write that right here. Let's put a dollar sign beside it as well. 47,500,000. All right, cool. All right, guys, so let's move on to the next one. It says the total amount repaid to the bank. Let's do C now. All right, guys, so for C, it says the total amount repaid to the bank if the monthly payment is 312,500 over a 30-year period. Okay, so we're gonna write total amount here. Okay, total amount repaid. This should be equal to the 312,500 that you're paying each month, right? Multiplied by the 30-year period, multiplied by 12 because there are 12 months in 1 year. All right, guys. So, right. So you multiply the 12 by the 30. 12 by 30 is actually 360. And then 360 multiplied by the 312. 312,500 should actually give us 112,500,000. Wow, big number, huh? And that's how it goes. You know, you pay $50 million for the house, but if you take a mortgage, you get paid double. You know, when you finish paying, you can buy 2 houses with the money. That's really how it goes, guys. That's just how it goes. I'm not saying do it this way. Be ambitious, save your money, buy your house cash. All right, but if not, you can take a mortgage. You know, it depends on what you're doing, but that's just how it goes. So that's the amount repaid. It's 112,500,000. All right, so done with C. Let's move on to D. And now we're going to do D, right? Which is the interest paid to the bank for this question. Now for the interest paid to the bank, right? Remember the bank puts up the $47,500 to pay for the house initially, right? And the total amount that you repaid to the bank if the monthly payment is 312,500 is 112,500,000, right? So for D, the interest paid to the bank would be the total amount, right? It would be the total amount paid over the 30 years, right? Over the 30 years minus the mortgage, right? Which is the amount the bank paid, all right? And that makes perfect sense because look at it this way, guys. The bank is the one who puts up the $47,500. I mean, the 47,500,000, right? So the bank puts up that 47,500,000, and then you pay this 112,500,000 over time. So the interest would be the 112,500,000 minus the $47 million, the 47,500,000 that the bank had put up in the first place, right? So the interest that you end up paying back the bank after they put up that 47 million up front, right, would be the 112,500,000 minus 47,500,000. So the answer you should end up getting should be $65 million. Okay. So this $65 million is the interest that you earned, that the bank earned. Sorry about that. The interest that the bank earned on doing the mortgage, right? So think of it this way, guys. You're buying the home for $50 million, you put up 2.5 and the bank pays the 47,500,000, right? Now you pay this over time and over 30 years the bank earns $65 million. Cool? And that's how it goes, guys. The bank helped you out, put up this money up front. So in return, the bank gets $65 million interest on their money, right? And it makes perfect sense. All right, guys. Okay, so let's move on to the next part. Let's move on to E. All right, so for the last one here, the total amount paid for the house, it would be, all right, total paid for the house. It should be the interest you paid over the period and the deposit, right? So it should be the 112,500,000, right? So 112,500,000 plus the 2.5 million, right? The 2.5 million that you paid for the deposit. So this is what you paid in total, all right? So, right, when you put everything into consideration, you end up paying $115 million for a $50 million house, okay? And that's how mortgages go. That's how mortgages go. But remember, guys, it's over a 30-year period, okay? All right, guys, so in 30 years, you probably wouldn't be able to save so much money in 10 years or 5 years. Or maybe you could, but it would really take a lot. So, but don't limit yourself, guys. Save your money. You know, after you start working, save your money. You know, maps it out. Buy your house. You know, don't give up on your dreams. Okay? Don't give up on your dreams. Buy your house. Okay? Buy your house and have your kids. All right, guys, great. So we'll finish this question now. And we're going to look at another question. Right, we're going to look at some easier questions now. So we're going to look at another example today. All right, guys. And it says here, a getaway house in the country in St. Elizabeth is selling for 5 million Jamaican dollars. Your bank, Sagicor, offers a 90% mortgage on the value of the property. Calculate the deposit and the mortgage. Okay, so this is the second mortgage question, guys. So let's just do it. All right, let's calculate the deposit. So, all right, so A here, we're gonna write the deposit, and the deposit would be equal to, it says it's a 90% mortgage, right? So that means that you have to pay 100 minus 90% of the property, right? Of the selling price of the property. Okay. All right. So that means that you have to pay 10% multiplied by the value of the property, the selling price, which is 5 million. Okay. All right. So that's the deposit. So let's calculate that. 10% is 10 over 100 multiplied by the 5 million. Okay. Which would give us, these two zeros cancel, these two zeros cancel, and this would actually give us 50,000 times 10, which is 500,000. Okay. All right, guys, so that's the deposit on the mortgage. Cool. Now they ask you to calculate the mortgage as well, right, which is B. And from the last question, right, we know that the mortgage is just equal to the selling price, right, the selling price of the property minus the deposit. Cool. Yeah. So all we need to do now is subtract the $500,000 deposit from the 5 million, right? Minus, yeah, let's move this up here for a second. All right, minus 500,000. And for the mortgage, we should get 4.5 million. All right, guys. Cool. Great. Awesome, guys. So let's move on to another question. Okay. Let's move on to another question right away. You know I love to do 3 examples. Awesome, guys. So we're doing the last example here, and this one is in US dollars instead. And it says an apartment in Austin, Texas is selling for 350,000 US, and the bank you decide to finance your payment through, JP Morgan and Chase, requires a 5% deposit. Okay, so it says calculate the deposit and the mortgage. Okay, so let's calculate them. Let's just do it right away, guys. So the deposit, uh, they already gave it as 5%, right? So all we need to do is multiply the 5% by the amount, right? So the deposit is equal to 5% multiplied by the $350,000, right? So these two zeros cancel, and you're gonna get 3,500 multiplied by 5, which is actually 17,500. All right, great. All right, cool. So B now, B says calculate the mortgage, right? And we know that the mortgage is equal to the selling price minus the deposit, right? Cool. So all we have to do is calculate that now. The 350,000 US for the home minus the deposit, which is actually 17,500. Cool. All right. All right, guys. So pretty much good here. So let's just calculate that, right? We should actually get 332,500. And this is the answer, guys, for the mortgage. All right. Cool. So pretty much finished with mortgages here. Yeah, we're finished here, guys, and I'll see you in the next lecture. All right, guys. All right, guys. So that's it, and I'll see you in the next lecture. And remember to do your best, and God will do the rest.